Before dawn breaks in Haiti, before you hear the sound of roosters, there's this quiet moment when the world feels like it's holding its breath. That's the moment the elders say that Papa Legba is walking. Not opening doors this time, but closing the ones that aren't meant for you. Most people know Legba as the gatekeeper, but what they don't know is Legba doesn't just open doors, he also hides the ones that you aren't ready to see. Long before the other Lord, people said that Legba was the first child of the universe, the one who witnessed creation before it even had a name. They say he remembers everything, every prayer, every mistake, every journey. That's why he limps, not from age, but from carrying the weight of every road humans have ever taken. And his cane isn't for support, it's for navigation. Legba controls confusion. If a message between humans get twisted, text misunderstood, a rumor misheard, prayer that sounds different coming out of your mouth, that's Legba too. Not to punish, but to redirect. He blends language like a path in the woods, making someone misunderstand you so you avoid danger that you didn't see coming. Every wrong turn you took could have been Legba saying, "Not this way, not yet." In many villages, children aren't scared of Papa Leg, but they run to him. He is the only one that answers their questions without any riddles. There's a story that's told in rural Haiti about a little boy who lost his goat at twilight. Terrified of spirits, he froze at a fork in the dirt road and an old man appeared. Wrinkled like dry earth, he tapped his cane to the left path. The goat went this way, he said. The boy followed the path and found his goat chewing cassava leaves. When he returned to thank the man, he was gone. The elders say that Papa Legba protects children because they haven't lied enough times to confuse the path between their heart and their mouth. Adults get lost. Papa Legba is the only Loa allowed to carry messages between the living and the dead without permission. Baron Samedi rules the dead, yes, but even Baron can't cross into dreams without Papa Legba opening the door first. Legba is the one who allows your ancestors to visit you at night. He is the one who decides which dreams are memories and which ones are warnings. That's why some Haitian families leave candles by the door, not just for light, so that Papa Legba can find the entrance when he brings messages back. Most people forget that Legba has two forms, his gentle sunrise and his storm self. When hurricanes arise, old voodoo practitioners say that Papa Legba is walking too fast between the worlds, kicking up wind with his cane, not angry, just urgent. They claim that the storms are Papa Legba clearing block roads in the spirit world. Your life feel like everything falling apart at once, that's Storm Legba breaking down old paths so new ones can form. This chaos is rarely destruction, it's usually renovation. People say that Papa Legba will open any door if you greet him respectfully. That's not true. There's one door that he will never open for anyone, and that's the door to someone else's destiny. Always remember, the crossroads doesn't test you, Papa Legba does. Look at your boy Bobby at Watch Real Flicks. Drop a comment and let me know what you thought about this part of Papa Legba and how you felt about it. Hey, if you're new to this page, don't forget to hit that follow button. Long before the dead started rising on movie screens, before Hollywood turned them into flesh-eating monsters, there was a different kind of zombie. One that didn't crave brains, only control. Our story begins with not the walking dead, but the ones who made them walk. The Bokor. In the heart of Haiti, under the shadow of the mountains, people whisper about them, the ones who serve with both hands. A Bokor isn't a priest or a prophet. He's something in between. The healer who can also curse, the one who can fix your life or ruin it. They say the Bokor walks both the light and dark, answering not just to spirits of voodoo, but to his own desires. It's said a true Bokor can raise the dead, but not in the way that Hollywood shows it. There's no graveyard thunder, no rotting hands bursting from the dirt. In voodoo, to raise the dead means to take someone's will, not their flesh. This is where the first zombie was born. The word itself comes from West Africa, from the Congo word Nzambi, meaning the spirit of a dead person. When enslaved Africans were taken to Haiti, that word crossed the ocean with them, but it changed. It evolved because in a world where people were owned in life, the greatest fear was being owned in death. To the enslaved, death was freedom. But the idea of bringing someone back to life, not as themselves, but as a soulless laborer, that was a nightmare worse than dying. The zombie became a symbol of ultimate enslavement, a body with no soul forced to serve forever. And this wasn't just legend. Haitian law even acknowledged it. The Penal Code of 1864 warned that substances capable of inducing prolonged lethargy and then exhuming that person counted as attempted murder. That's how real the belief was. People told stories of Bokors using secret powders, mixtures of herbs, bones, and toxins from the pufferfish, poisons that could slow the heart until even doctors believed you were dead. Then after you were buried, they would dig you up, feed you mind-numbing plants like datura, and then break your mind until you forgot who you were. You'd walk, breathe, work, but your soul, gone. Villagers said those people became zombies, not monsters, but victims. Their eyes empty, their voices hollow, alive, but not living. To Haitians, that was true horror. In 1932, America made its first zombie on screen in White Zombie. It took place in Haiti, but it wasn't about slavery, colonization, or power. Hollywood kept the word zombie, but stripped the way it's sold, and by the time I Walk with a Zombie came out in 1943, the meaning was already fading. And in 1968, everything changed. George A. Romero released Night of the Living Dead. The zombie became global, but its roots in history were buried under pop culture. Look, it's your boy Bobby at Watch Real Flicks. Drop a comment and let me know how you felt about the origin of the zombie and the Bokor. Hey, if you're new to this page, don't forget to hit that follow button.
Honor and respect, honor and respect, honor and respect. Divine all blessed greetings and salutations. It is another edition of Revolutionary Hoodoo, New Orleans Voodoo Secrets and Recipes. Voodoo Hoodoo 101. Powered, produced, promoted, sponsored, and supported by NOIVD, New Orleans International Voodoo Day. New Orleans' annual International Voodoo Day. Become a part of something extraordinary. New Orleans International Voodoo Day is not just an event, it's a movement that celebrates culture, fosters education, and connects people from around the globe. By sponsoring this event, you're supporting a tax deductible cause that preserves heritage, uplifts art and education, and fosters healing within the community and beyond. And your sponsorship goes beyond promoting your business. It demonstrates your commitment to cultural preservation and education while supporting a unique event that brings international recognition to New Orleans. Events like symposiums, art exhibitions, sacred processions, and global speakers offer unparalleled opportunities to honor history and inspire a brighter future. Supporting an event like this means empowering a community, enriching cultural understanding, and making a meaningful impact on the world. It connects your brand to a celebration that values unity, diversity, and progress while helping preserve traditions for generations to come. Please join us in celebrating a legacy. Explore our sponsorship tiers and help us make New Orleans International Voodoo Day an unforgettable celebration. We certainly continue to invite your participation, your support, certainly your sponsorship, your donations, your volunteership, and your promotion of this powerful event. And we're thankful and grateful for our continued support and participation in the live chat as well as in social media spaces. Thank you so much for continuing to be present with us, Daniel Neal, faithful member of our community. Greetings and salutations, Mambo, Sally, and Glassman. We certainly do appreciate you and thank you for your continued support and participation. And we will be unmuting our beloved co-host, the Queen Mother, Sister Toni Martinez, community activist and community mother, and our beloved Elder Reggie. We identify here as Green Soap, leader and founder of Shrine of the White Cloth, also a committed member and co-administrator of NOIVD, New Orleans International Voodoo Day. I want to share tonight a little more in keeping with our theme, but going more in the direction of Christmas, the holidays, and slavery in America. I call it a paradox of joy and sorrow. The Christmas holiday season and slavery in the antebellum South and Central and South America that blends the warmth and contradictions of the Christmas season with the harsh realities of slavery in the antebellum South and across Central and South America. Beloved, friends, seekers of history and spirit. Tonight, we invite you to walk with us through a paradox of joy and sorrow, of bells and chains, of hymns and cries. We are going to spend time in the holiday season, particularly the Christmas holiday season, that most celebrated of times. And we are going to place it against the backdrop of slavery in the antebellum South and the plantations and haciendas of Central and South America. Christmas is a season of light, of family, of generosity, they say. But for millions of enslaved men, women, and children, Christmas was also a season of contradictions, moments of brief reprieve, moments of cruel irony, and sometimes moments of hope. And in the antebellum South, Christmas was often the only time of year when enslaved people were granted a measure of rest. Plantation owners, steeped in Christmas tradition, believed themselves benevolent when they allowed a few days off or gave small gifts, perhaps extra food, clothing, or tobacco. We call that the holiday paradox. For enslaved people, Christmas could mean a rare chance to visit family on neighboring plantations, as we saw in the movie The Color Purple, to dance, to sing spirituals, to worship in their own way. Yet it also meant enduring the paternalistic rituals of slaveholders who used Christmas generosity as a tool of control, the Christmas gift tradition. In many Southern households, enslaved people were expected to greet their masters on Christmas morning with the phrase Christmas gift, a ritual that reinforced hierarchy. The master might respond with coins or trinkets, but the exchange was never equal. Imagine the sound, children laughing in the big house, opening presents by the fire, while outside in the slave quarters, families huddled together, grateful for a few scraps of meat or molasses. The contrast was stark and it was deliberate. Slaveholders often emphasized the Christian message of obedience during Christmas sermons. They preached that Christ's birth was a gift and a salvation, but twist the message to insist that enslaved people should accept their bondage as divinely ordained. Yet, enslaved communities reinterpreted Christmas. They sang spirituals that spoke of liberation, of a Savior who came to break chains. The story of Mary and Joseph, poor and marginalized, resonated deeply. The promise of a child born to bring freedom was not lost on them. And beyond the United States, slavery in Central and South America carried its own rhythms during Christmas. Brazil, for example, the largest slave society in the Americas, Brazil's Catholic traditions infused Christmas with elaborate festivals. Enslaved Africans participated in processions, sometimes allowed to dance and drum, but always under watchful eyes. In Cuba and the Caribbean, sugar plantations dominated life. Christmas coincided with the grinding season when labor was most intense. Any holiday was short lived, overshadowed by the relentless demand for sugar production. And in Spanish America, Catholic rituals emphasized nativity plays and midnight masses. Enslaved and free people of African descent often blended African traditions with Christian celebrations, creating syncretic practices, drumming, dancing, and masquerades that carried hidden meanings of resistance. Many of these practices and these traditions highlighted doing what we come to know and understand in New Orleans and much of the Catholic world as Carnival. Slaveholders prided themselves on their generosity at Christmas. They gave gifts, held feasts, sometimes even allowed marriages among enslaved people during the holiday season, the jumping or crossing the broom, as they would say. But this generosity was a mask. It reinforced dependency. It reminded enslaved people that every scrap of joy was at the mercy of the master. And some enslaved people dreaded Christmas because it was also a time when slaveholders sold or traded laborers to settle the debts before the new year. Families could be torn apart just as others celebrated togetherness. Yet Christmas also represented a season of resistance and hope, a season of the possibilities of freedom and revolution. Stories abound of enslaved people using the holiday to plan escapes, knowing patrols were lighter, drunker, often sleep, and much lazier during the Christmas season. And others used the gatherings to share news, to strengthen bonds, to dream of freedom. The Christmas story itself, the birth of a child in humble circumstances, heralded as a liberator with a source of hope. Enslaved preachers drew parables between Christ's missions and the longing for emancipation. Today, when we celebrate Christmas, we rarely think of its role in slave societies. But memory matters. And science has now demonstrated what we've always known, that the dead, the ancestors never leave us. Science has now demonstrated that ancestral memory survives in the blood, in our very DNA. At least 11 generations. Please mute. Oh my. Um, and it survives in our blood at least 11 generations. So memory matters. The songs sung in the quarters, the dances performed in the plazas, the whispered prayers for deliverance, all of these shaped the culture of the Americas. Christmas was not simply a holiday, it was a contested space, a time when power and resistance, oppression and hope collided. So let us hold the paradox together. Christmas bells rang, but so too did the clank of chains. Families gathered, but families were torn apart. Masters gave gifts, but freedom was withheld. And yet, in the midst of sorrow, enslaved people carried out joy, carved out joy, created and recreated joy where they could. They sang, they prayed, they dreamed, they believed that the child born in Bethlehem was born for them too. And as we celebrate this holiday season today, let us remember that history, particularly in this season that we are existing in right now under this present regime. Let us honor those who endured, those who resisted, and those who believed in a brighter dawn. We certainly are thankful for the continued support, participation, and contributions of our beloved co-hosts. So I do invite Queen Mother Sister Toni Val Martinez and Elder Reggie to please come on in. How do you acknowledge, if at all, the holiday seasons? And I say the holiday seasons because for us here in New Orleans, it literally starts at Halloween, and it continues through 12 days of Christmas, up until the night before Lent, or Ash Wednesday. So how do you acknowledge, if at all, the holiday season, and how has it changed for you, and how have you seen it evolve over the years? Come on in. How y'all doing?
Hey, how you
Mhm.
doing? Hello, audience out there. Coming up, Christmas wasn't a big thing in my house. I literally kind of had to learn what Christmas was. My parents were elderly by the time I came along. They was in their late 60s and early 70s and didn't never had kids. But They tried. I mean, I had the ugly aluminum Christmas tree with the lights in a circle that spin round and round. And my mom and dad must have pulled back on their early 1900 memories of Christmas, because nuts and oranges and apples and peppermint candy, that was what you put in stocking stuffers. So by the time I had my kids, I had saw what other people did in their house for Christmas. And I followed suit for a little while, because I really didn't believe in it too. And then when my children got old enough not to even care, I stopped doing it altogether. Even Christmas dinner growing up as a child was the same as our Sunday dinner. Sunday dinner was a big thing. And it was like a Sunday dinner. So it really, I got gifts, I got presents. But it never was a big thing for me, because I don't believe in the narrative. So it's a day when we could get together, but not on that day. It's a season. From, like you said, Divine, from Halloween up until the day after Mardi Gras. That's a whole season. And we get together as a family after Thanksgiving and after Christmas. And then we just come together, be thankful, and enjoy each other. What about you, Elder Reggie?
Yeah, thank you, Sister Toni. Great show tonight, Divine Prince, and hello to the collective audience. Oh my God, Christmas was like a big hit for me. That was the one holiday of the year that I used to look forward to, because even as a little boy, for some reason, I just wanted to always be a giver. And so it was a time I would just find a way to buy gifts for everybody. If I thought of you, you got some type of token or gift from me. And I just always got gratitude from giving like that. But then after I had the outer body experience, I start moving more into Kwanzaa. And so I shifted more of my energy to Kwanzaa beyond Christmas. Like in my house now, we still celebrate Christmas because my wife, she's a Christian, and I still honor and respect those things that she liked to do also. But it's really not a big deal for me. I'm kind of still looking forward to Kwanzaa, where I could bring out my Kanaras and the different little Zikitis, the Wadis, the toys, the gifts, and the reciprocity process. So that's kind of where I'm at with it now.
Yeah, and see, in my house, it wasn't a special time. By me being the only child, I got gifts all throughout the year. It wasn't saved up like a lot of people did for that special day. And I guess my kids kind of felt that way too. Growing up, we get all year round. So what you gonna get for Christmas? I mean, even if you ask my grandkids what they're getting for Christmas, they'll look at you like, well, let me see, I already got.
Yes,
It's
indeed.
hard to buy presents because we don't just wait. If we got the money, we getting it. So it's not real big for us, but I understand it is in a lot of families, and that's good. And I used to do Kwanzaa pre-Katrina, but then when I came back to New Orleans, I fell off and didn't go to the festivities, mostly due to working and transportation. But it was mainly working because I worked at night. My work night would start at 7 and end at 7 in the morning. 7 at night to 7 in the morning. So I missed a lot of and just got out of it. But I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the Kwanzaa festivities.
Yeah, I was born in Chicago, and then we moved to the DC, Maryland, Virginia area around when I was 4 years old, and still attended Black Spiritualist churches up until I was 14. But we were, first, decidedly pro-Black. I mean, the DMV was called Chocolate City during that time. and Dr. Karanga created and originated Kwanzaa in 1966, the year that I was born. So for us, the holidays in general, but particularly Christmas that I can remember in the 70s, was very black. We went to Woolworth's department store and Sears and bought the traditional Christmas garb, and then spent days applying black and brown shoe polish, to the plastic Santas and to the angels and whatnot, to give it that 1970s "I'm black and I'm proud," demonstration. And certainly we were definitely paying attention to astrology and zodiacs and much of that during the 70s. But around 13 is when we then made this, what I now consider the dreadful transition to the apostolic church and the sanctified holiness denominations in general. And things, we stopped getting hardly anything for Christmas. We continued, much like your parents, Sister Toni. We got nuts and some degree of candy and peppermint and fruits, which we looked forward to, because that's something we often did not get throughout the year. In this really dominant, controlled household, there was very few pleasures. We got books and clothes. And as I got 12, 13, the clothes started being used clothes, uh, uh, thrift store clothes. And mind you, I grew up in a middle class household. This was a part of the psychotic behavior of my dad at the time. So, I, was tarnished on Christmas from that Western perspective, as I went into my teens. But as a child, both sides of my family made a really big deal about Christmas. Christmas celebration for my father's side of the family would be 5 or 6 days. We'd end up at one house on Christmas Eve, and hardly anyone would leave until the day after New Year's. That's where you would see that whole pig on the table. My mother's family, again, was very Western in their approach um, to Christmas. Hard working class black folks who uh, demonstrated their successes through materialism. So my grandmother, who had three sisters, they all had a house with white furniture and white carpet and that
Oh my
metal tree
God.
that Toni talked about in the 70s with that rotating rainbow light. We had that. That's so 1970s, 60s and 70s.
I
And
hated that
then
tree.
and then the gifts my grandmother would get, that my father would then hide or destroy or throw away, after we left her house in St. Louis and went back home to DMV, um, was just crazy. So after I left home at 14, now I'm out there on the street, and my parents are my street parents, my godparents, in the various religious sects that I was, affiliating myself with at the time, began to introduce, beyond just Kwanzaa, other festival, harvest-like ceremonies, but also helped me to really understand where we all were physically and regionally in the world, on a winter equinox, in Central and West Africa, as opposed to in the Northern hemispheres, you know, where we
Well, you
experience snow and cold, and sort of the dying of the elements with the winter and being reborn again, in the spring. So like Elder Reggie, I began to really incorporate more astronomy and cosmic meaning to what's really going on during what I consider the thinning of the veils for us, and particularly in the northern hemisphere. The veils are thinnest during these cold, winter months. And so there is a sweeping and a cleansing that Bianca referenced, that her family tradition, sweeping from the back to the front. We call that spring cleaning in some families, but a more ritualized practice that my grandmother and my mother made us adhere to. We broke out that vinegar and water and that cinnamon, not long after New Year's, after we broke down all the decorations and accoutrements and, prepared spiritually and ritually for the coming year. And to some degree, we continued that even after we got involved in the apostolic faith. But the reasoning behind it, I think, began to sort of dissolve and or evaporate.
But actually, if I
That's just a little
could,
nostril.
but one thing that started really turning me off against Christmas, and it was this event they called Black Friday. When Black Friday first came into being, oh man, the news used to just pan at different stores in different cities of people just acting a plumb fool. And for some reason, the cameras used to always go on black people fighting and just shoving the shelves and things of that nature. And I used to cringe each year because I didn't want to see that. And so that just moved me toward this time of the year, just trying to rush where Christmas could be over, Kwanzaa could start. Because that image and the way they was building that narrative year after year, and also selling, you have to have the latest iPad, iPhone gaming system, a real marketing on commercialism. It just really turned me off.
Well, you know who started that, right?
No,
You know who
ma'am.
gave us the Santa Claus we see today with the white beard and the red outfit? Coca-Cola.
Oh, okay.
Coca-Cola was the first one that put Santa Claus as we know him today out there. They started the big marketing around Christmas time that led to the Black Friday. At one time, Christmas was outlawed in the United States. It was forbidden in the college.
That
It was
part.
forbidden.
Hmm.
You could not do it. And then one of the president, Roosevelt or Eisenhower, somebody president, wife went to London to see the Queen, and they were doing a Christmas over there. And she brought it back here and put up a Christmas tree in the White House. Well, once that was done, everybody had to have a Christmas tree. Everybody had to have a Christmas tree. Because before that, and coming from England, I can see why the Christmas tree and the Yule log and the mistletoe, all of that was associated with the Druids, which our Puritan colonizers thought was akin to devil worshiping. So they outlawed it. When English did come here, bringing that tradition. But Coca-Cola is the one that started. That's why Santa Claus is the same color as the Coke can. The same red and everything. They started that marketing and gave us the Christmases that we know today, where it's all about gifts and stuff like that and decorating, and the Christmas tree fell in to that also. But one thing, and you might know about this, Elder Reggie, that my mama did take me to, that dealt with Christmas, not on Christmas Day, but in the so-called Christmas season. We get all dressed up in our Sunday best. Me with my little gloves on and patent leather shoes and patent leather purse, and go to Maison Blanche.
I knew it.
To see Mr. Bengal.
Yep. I do.
See Mr. Bengal, and they put on a show in that window. And it would be so crowded, and they had special show times. And I get it from my mama. If the show started at 8:45, I'm going to be there at 7:30. You know, I'm going to be there at least 15 to 20 minutes early because I won't be in the front. And everybody gathered in front of that window like it was a big wall-sized television. And so much was going on. And then we go to Woolworth and eat lunch and do maybe a little shopping and then go back home. But that was every year we did that.
Yes. We done it too, and I definitely remember it. People may not know, but Maison Blanche today, that building is converted into a hotel called the Saint, I believe. Saint in the center, or something like that. I know I see the word Saint on it. But yeah, but Mr. Bojingle, you know, he was I believe he was an ice cream cone, and he had the jingles on it. Was he an ice cream cone?
Well, his hat was a cone. He was supposed to be a snowman, kind of like Frosty that came to life.
Okay.
For some reason, and his hat was a snow cone hat. And he had cold for eyes, and he had holly, and everything just Christmassy. But he was a snowman.
Yes.
And, people got dressed up. I'm telling you.
Yes, I did.
Back in those days, we dressed. Black people dressed, and you wasn't going on the main street of your city looking like you just rolled out of bed.
Yes.
Oh no.
I do remember it. It was called your Sunday Best to go up and see that. Yes, Mr. J. Yes.
Well, anytime me and my mama went and what she called in town, because we stayed in the lower ninth ward, we dressed up in our Sunday best. Gloves and all, because we shopped on Dryads, which was the black shopping area.
Correct.
The black boutiques and all the black-owned shops. And everybody on Dry Street looked like they just came out of church. Everybody looked like they just came out of church. And it was beautiful. It was beautiful. I saw Dry Street as a child, and then I saw it as an adult when it was gone. I saw it fading a little bit. But when I moved up there and saw all the businesses gone and the boarded up, and you know, it was heartbreaking. It was very heartbreaking. It was very heartbreaking. But one thing I had, my granddaughter, she's 4 years old. This is something I didn't realize. I started a tradition without even realizing I started a tradition. My daddy actually started it with my oldest two children. They were the only ones who knew my daddy and knew he ate the ends of the bread with his coffee. That was his favorite part of the bread, the ends of the bread. So my oldest two kids, they called it pawpaw bread. And they wouldn't eat it and scream, "Oh, you can't eat that. That's pawpaw bread." Well, undoubtedly, they passed it down through the generations. Because my 4-year-old granddaughter asked me to make her a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And I pull the bread out, the end of the bread out, because I still don't eat it. I always say, "Here go your bread, Daddy," before I get rid of it. And I put that piece on the side, and she told me, "Mama, that's pawpaw bread." I stopped dead in my tracks. Dead in her mother doesn't know, never seen my daddy. So I said, "Yeah, baby, that's pawpaw bread," and just left it alone. So I'm halfway finished making her sandwich, and then she says, out the blue again, "You can't eat that." So apparently, my oldest two children passed it down to their siblings who wouldn't eat it. And they have now passed it down to their children.
Mm-hmm.
So I know my oldest daughter don't, my youngest, but now I'm finding out my youngest daughter, children don't eat those ends of the bread, and they call it the same thing, pawpaw bread.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's a tradition in our family now. We don't eat the ends of the bread.
Right. Yes, Sister Toni, it is, but it's also ancestral connected now.
Yes.
Because from the generation from with your granddaughter, it's that energy is moving through. And I'm certain when she become an adult, she's not gonna eat it and it's gonna still get passed on to another generation.
Yes.
Yes.
And I just was floored. I was floored when she said, that's pawpaw bread. And she didn't say nothing after saying it's pawpaw bread until a few minutes later. And then she she picked up the rest of her sentence or remembered, we don't eat that. And I didn't ask her why, because I know she wouldn't know why. But I know why. So apparently my oldest two, who was way older than my other kids, would not let them eat. I was at work a lot. And a lot of responsibility of the younger kids fell on my oldest daughter and my oldest son. So apparently they wasn't letting them eat that part of the bread either. So, I mean, that's how easy. See how easy you can start a tradition today? A lot of people say our family don't have no traditions. You start one. Start
That's
one
right.
now, today, and pass it on. Because basically that's what our ancestors did. They passed on to us stuff that their parents and grandparents had got passed on to them from the generations before them.
That's right.
And that was just how easy. That was so easy for something to come about and has lasted 50 years in our family. Because my oldest son is 50. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I see a level of respect in that too, because because it was pawpaw bread, everyone respected not to touch that piece, don't violate his space,
Yes.
but also it's just a respect thing, and so that's good. And in so many areas, in so many ways, respect is being lost. But even if you take a small inkling like that and you find respect in it, that is a good thing, Sister Toni.
Yes. And that
Mm-hmm.
easy to start a tradition that you could start in your family today with your children.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
I just had to look at her like, look, girl, you've been here before.
Well,
She said it.
mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
but we coming to the end of our program, and I'm so happy everyone joined us. I want to turn it over to the Divine Prince so that he can acknowledge all our wonderful listeners on our other platforms. And then Elder Reggie is going to take it from there with the announcements and his words of wisdom.
Thank you. Thank
We
you.
are
Thank
certainly
you.
thankful for those who are listening in the Facebook platform, whether it's in the group, my grouping page, Tony's grouping page, or Elder Reggie's profile page. Any access to the link, we're certainly thankful for your support and participation, for LinkedIn, for YouTube, for our Twitter X listenership, and certainly for our Instagram listenership. Thank you, Astro Boy 88, for joining us. And Goddess, we certainly do appreciate you for coming through. And B, I Shook, thank you so much for stopping through. And we invite you to join us again on Monday night at 9 p.m. U.S. Central Standard Time on a platform near you or by way of our QR code at the top right corner of the screen. All is a blessing.
Mm. Yes. The advertisement, can you put them up, please, Divine Prince? Thank you. Saturday, December the 6th, the Azaka ceremony will be held at 6:30. That location will it be at the Healing
At,
Center?
no, at the temple in the alley.
Okay, at the
The
temple.
source
Oh,
on 4. They can certainly contact us for exact
okay.
location and information.
Thank you so much. And also, Saturday the 13th of December, 6:30 p.m., you're having the Gade ceremony. And then Friday, December the 19th at 6:30 p.m., the new moon ritual. And Saturday, the 20th of December, we have in the Petro Flaming Bat ritual. If you're in the local area and you can attend these events, please reach out to us to get more further information so we can see you in the place. With that, I say, lest we forget, the spiritual medicine of voodoo brings healing and relief from the shackles of slavery that binds the master and the slave to the same chain of social division. We continue to have work that's lay ahead of us. Let's continue to pray. Let's continue to look after each other over the weekend. And we will see you guys Monday. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Good night. Good weekend. We love you all.
Good night, Odabo.
Good night, everyone. Peace and blessings.
Every May, New Orleans becomes the heart of a global spiritual. Every May, New Orleans becomes the heart of a global spiritual movement with International Vodou Day. This two-day event is more than a festival. It's a sacred gathering rooted in remembrance, healing, and community. People from around the world come together to honor ancestors, celebrate African diasporic culture, and participate in ceremonies that uplift the spirit. Guided by tradition and unity, the event features a public symposium, processional walks to historic sites, vibrant art exhibitions, and traditional Vodou rituals led by respected culture bearers. It's a space where everyone is invited to gather, remember, and rise together in truth and reverence. At its core, International Vodou Day is about spiritual medicine, healing the wounds of history and building bridges across continents. Inspired by National Vodou Day in Benin, the event in New Orleans began as a day of collective remembrance and spiritual reparation. Through symposiums, processions, and rituals, participants honor those who survived the transatlantic slave trade and create space for education and healing. The vision is to connect New Orleans with Benin, Haiti, the Caribbean, and West Africa, strengthening international bonds through cultural partnership. Despite centuries of suppression, Vodou continues to offer resilience, identity, and hope for the African diaspora. International Vodou Day is built on a foundation of cultural and spiritual integrity. Organizers honor the many sacred paths within Vodou, Vodun, Voodoo, and related traditions, recognizing their diversity and depth. The event is guided by elders, practitioners, and culture bearers, ensuring that every decision reflects the collective spirit and ancestral wisdom. This commitment means that visibility never comes at the expense of authenticity. Instead, the sacred is protected, honored, and kept alive within the community, creating a space where multiple lineages, languages, and experiences are respected and celebrated. NOIVD is dedicated to honoring the rich heritage of Vodou and its role in the African diaspora. The event's goals are clear: educate the public about Vodou's history and principles, provide a platform for practitioners and artists, foster inclusivity, and celebrate African contributions in New Orleans and beyond. By promoting cultural exchange and social justice, the event strengthens community empowerment and intergenerational knowledge. Through collective effort, sacred traditions are revitalized, cross-cultural understanding is deepened, and ancestral wisdom is honored, all while inspiring personal transformation and social change. A major milestone for NOIVD was the formal partnership with Benin's Vodou Rights Committee, affirming a shared commitment to cultural exchange and spiritual solidarity. This collaboration brings together international spiritual leaders, artists, and culture bearers, creating a living pathway of remembrance and healing. The event now serves as a bridge between ancestral homelands and the diaspora, strengthening ties across borders and generations. Through these partnerships, NOIVD continues to expand its reach, deepen its impact, and honor Vodou as a global spiritual tradition. Looking ahead, International Vodou Day is focused on strategic growth and cultural bridging. The event is expanding through public art installations, ambassador programs, and new educational media. By strengthening partnerships with global allies and increasing international press, NOIVD aims to elevate Vodou's visibility and narrative worldwide. These efforts ensure that the event remains rooted in ancestral legacy while embracing innovation and collaboration. The future is about amplifying practitioner voices, celebrating Vodou's living traditions, and building a global community grounded in truth and connection. Vodou stands as one of the major traditional African religions, originating in West Africa and especially present-day Benin. Despite the hardships of the transatlantic slave trade, Vodou's traditions survived and evolved, giving rise to Haitian Vodou and New Orleans Vodou. Far from stereotypes, Vodou is a system of healing, balance, and empowerment. It preserved identity and spiritual continuity for enslaved Africans and continues to thrive today in ceremonies, music, and community rituals. In New Orleans, its influence is seen in Congo Square, artistic expression, and vibrant cultural life, making it a living, global spiritual tradition. The NOIVD Symposium is a cornerstone of the event, bringing together scholars, practitioners, and cultural leaders to share knowledge and foster dialogue. The sacred processional honors ancestral sites and histories, while the art show celebrates spiritual expression through visual storytelling. Traditional Vodou ceremonies unite international practitioners in public rituals that invite collective healing. Children's programs introduce young people to ancestral wisdom through art and play, ensuring that the next generation carries forward these sacred traditions. Each element of the programming is designed to deepen understanding, build community, and celebrate the living legacy of Vodou. As global interest in Vodou grows, International Vodou Day is helping to position New Orleans as a premier destination for cultural tourism. Inspired by Benin's National Vodou Days and other international festivals, NOIVD attracts visitors, scholars, and spiritual seekers from around the world. The event fosters international connections through art, education, music, and tradition, contributing to the city's vibrant cultural landscape. With each passing year, NOIVD's impact expands, offering new opportunities for cross-cultural exchange and making New Orleans a beacon for those seeking spiritual and cultural enrichment. NOIVD's journey is marked by significant accomplishments: sacred processionals, public ceremonies at Congo Square, art installations, and international partnerships. The event has rebranded to reflect its global vision, hosted symposiums at Xavier University, and welcomed delegates from Benin and Haiti. Educational series, podcasts, and children's programs have broadened its reach, while historical markers and art exhibitions honor the past and inspire the future. As NOIVD continues to grow, it remains dedicated to remembrance, healing, and building a vibrant, inclusive community for generations to come.
Please, allow me to show you something.
They say I'm crazy and that might be true. I got this white in my DNA, yeah, I'm coming for you. It's time we turn the tables, flip these motherfuckers on you. I wanna see you hanging from trees. It's time you pay for your dirt and your showtime. You created the monster, you created the beast. Now all this savagery you just gon' reap. I'm coming home, daddy, to the plantation, and I'm taking the lives of everybody, including the children, on some Nat Turner away. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. I met my girl Harriet at the gate. If you wanna know how she doing, yeah, she straight. But she had one question: when we gon' get up? All that talking tough, yeah, we don't walk it tough. She got it locked and loaded, got that piece up on her side. She looked me in my eyes and said, "Meet you ready to ride?" Moving forward, you gotta use both eyes. Watch your front and watch your back. Keep your hands up on your gas. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. He sit at the table, but he don't order no bacon. He greet me in those words, Assalamu alaikum. Got them glasses on his face and them waves in his head. He go by the name of Detroit Red. He looks me in my eye and says, you only get one try. Know that your biggest opposition will come from the inside. I know you wanna love them all, but don't even try, because they'll smile up in your face while plotting your demise. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down.